Hello, I'm delighted to be here in digital format to talk to you this afternoon about the unit of work I have prepared on Mollie Hunter's novel, The 13th Member. I very much hope that Mollie Hunter's novels are still popular in the English department, as they provide a wealth of opportunity for different kinds of study and have proved popular over the years with both boys and girls, as Hunter always presents strong characters of both sexes. Hunter is also an excellent source for Scottish history, and many of my own interests were stimulated by a novel of hers. This unit of work, or more properly block of work, as it is a lengthy enterprise if all the suggested tasks are carried out, has gone through several iterations since I originally taught it to an S1 class, probably in the 1990s. It was constructed under the general conditions used by the English department I worked in at the time, and was actually used as a 3-volume class study, where the class was divided by ability into 3 groups, all studying different but loosely related works, and the whole class brought together where appropriate to do a common task. This way of working demanded a good deal of prior preparation, as pupils were left to their own devices to carry out a number of the tasks, hence the detailed nature of this unit. Interestingly, looking at it recently, I expected I would have to do a complete overhaul to comply with the experiences and outcomes of Curriculum for Excellence, but I found that the tasks could remain as long as they were labelled appropriately. Having gone through the 10 to 14 and then 5 to 14 arrangements, Curriculum for Excellence was found to be little different in terms of the tasks set in the classroom. Plus ça change, and it's one of the joys of being an English teacher. To get the elephant out of the room, first of all, this is a novel which concerns witches and witchcraft, and there is sometimes an objection in some schools to this subject being mentioned. If you are in that situation, then this would be a challenging text to use. But given the current increased interest in the witches of Scotland and the falsely accused men and women who were executed as witches, it would be a very good way into the topic. In addition, it is based on history, and one of the texts that I refer to in the unit is the written account from the time of the events. I have included a short introduction for teachers to contextualize the novel in its historical period, and there is more background material in the appendix to the block. The protagonist of the novel is the 16-year-old farm serf Adam Laurie, cold, hungry, and ill-treated, who one sleepless night sees a fearsome sight, a creature which can only be the devil, riding towards him on a horse which is glowing with an unearthly blue flame, on his way to the witches' meeting. Frightened enough at the sight, he becomes even more so when he discovers that Gilly Duncan, the young kitchen maid, is the unwilling 13th member of a witches' coven. This is the North Berwick coven, which in 1590 plotted to kill King James VI of Scotland. Adam calls on Master Gideon Graham, the alchemist, the man who has seen his potential and taught him to read, for advice and help, and from him learns of the great festivals of witchcraft. Graham has a secret, which is kept well hidden from the reader until its spectacular moment of revelation. Many historical characters appear in the novel, such as Dr. John Fyon, the schoolmaster, who is actually the master of the coven, alongside Hunter's own creations. James's reign was troubled from the moment he was crowned at 1 year old, and he encountered opposition from his magnates, as well as those who were appointed to protect and guide him. He was fascinated by the idea of witchcraft and wrote a book on the subject called Demonology. I'm going to share my screen with you as I have a short PowerPoint presentation to go with this talk. As you can see, this is a prose fiction teaching unit designed for the broad general education stage and applicable to S1 to S3, depending on the type of class you have in front of you. The work is divided into core and extension tasks, the former designed to give a detailed study of the novel's character, plot, themes, and style, and the latter designed to allow the faster working of the class to take their studies rather further. It covers the whole range of reading, writing, talking, and listening experiences that are required, and completed tasks will provide a good deal of evidence for the achievement of levels of attainment. I have, in addition to the base text, added a number of extracts from other texts, which will be detailed later. I have designed the unit to give opportunities for individual, pair, and group work in various modes, and to cover a wide range of experiences and outcomes, as shown in this slide. There is quite a focus on pairs discussion, as this is a challenging novel, and it may well be that students would benefit from talking through aspects of the plot and narrative to ensure that they fully understand what is going on. Opportunities for creative writing are offered sparingly, as I consider the most important aspects of this novel are the characterization and plotting, such that there is more direct examination of specific sections of the text. There are also some more mechanical tasks, such as close procedure and correctly punctuating direct speech, which are helpful for the literacy user knows. The work culminates with an extended response to reading, individual notes for which will be built up over the course of study. As the unit is presented in Word format, text, tasks and sections can be downloaded and printed off. I'm probably showing my age here, and probably also a rather unrealistic appreciation of the photocopying budget, but they can also be displayed on the whiteboard for students to work on. Where appropriate, suggested marking schemes are appended at the end of the unit. You may struggle to see the variety of tasks which are included in the unit and where they fit into the English frameworks from this slide, but be assured that virtually nothing is left out. You will be glad also to hear that as a retired practitioner, I have consulted real practicing teachers about the current terminology as I updated the unit and have sent versions of it for their approval. I've no doubt that these labels will evolve as the various reforms work their way through, but at bottom, the tasks set on a text have not really changed, however much they might be described. One of the secondary texts which I have incorporated in the unit is News from Scotland, published in 1591 with illustrative woodcuts, which was the historical account of the witches' plotting, their capture, examination, and sentencing. This little book is readily available online and is an interesting source of study in itself for those who wish to go further in researching the topic. This particular illustration is interesting in that it appears to show only women listening to the devil's preaching and stirring the cauldron, while Hunter makes clear that there were male as well as female witches. Another point of interest is that all those illustrated appear like upright townsfolk, not at all the stereotypes that might be depicted. The witches in Hunter's narrative are in the main apparently good living townspeople who attend the kirk on the Sabbath and would not be suspected of living double lives, making their treachery all the greater. As might be expected, I have also included a section from Robert Burns's poem Tam O'Shanter, as that is a text that students might be expected to have heard of, or if they don't actually know it already. Again, comparing and contrasting what Tam sees with what Hunter describes enables a deeper study of the idea of witchcraft in Scotland through the centuries. Shakespeare's Macbeth might be considered a step too far, but the witches scene from Act 4 is such great fun to act out that it should not really be missed. It is worth mentioning that Shakespeare wrote this play for James VI and First's entertainment, as he was aware of James's interest in witchcraft. One text I have not included, although it was suggested and would be a good addition if there were time, is the scene from Arthur Miller's The Crucible, when the apparently bewitched girls are examined in court. And if the appetite for witchcraft has not been totally sated by this time, John Hodgert's play Bessie Dunlop will give yet another text, this time dramatic, based on another historical situation. In addition, there are plenty of opportunities for interdisciplinary learning. As suggested, the obvious discipline is history. There are possibilities for studying the Stuart Kings of Scotland, the concept of the divine right of kings, the accession of James VI to the English throne and the birth of the United Kingdom in 1603, the historical facts of witchcraft, and the witch trials in Scotland have been given some prominence recently, and there are new researches available. The presence in the novel of the alchemist Gideon Graham gives an opportunity to look with the science department at the evolution of medicine and chemistry as two branches of the ancient art. The study of maps of the area south of the Forth Estuary could be undertaken in the geography classroom to pinpoint the locations named. Drama is taken as read, as so much of the novel and the additional suggested tasks lend themselves to being acted out. Finally, just a brief glimpse at a number of jackets used for the novel over the years. You can see that two images are preferred. Kelpie's has gone for the image of the devil riding his glowing horse, while Hamish Hamilton and Piccolo have used the gathering of the witches itself as the image. This can provoke a very useful discussion on the purpose of the jacket illustration and which is preferred by students and why. I do hope this short introduction has whetted your appetite to try this novel out. Thanks to the untiring efforts of Ronnie Renton, permission has been granted to print a new run of 200 copies, which should shortly be available if you don't already have copies in the stockroom and can't readily find them in bookshops. Mollie Hunter's estate has asked to see this unit of work, so I hope they approve of it, and I hope you find it worth the effort of reading through it. Thank you.